Hello friends, today we are going to discuss 15th February newspaper. The newspaper is The Hindu. Open the front page. The important news item is Supreme Court verdict in Sasikala bid to become Chief Minister. See, as such this article is not relevant for UPSC. However, the important court judgment in this article is first. Write it down. Supreme Court judgment in the Lily Thomas versus Union of India of July 2013 case. See, in that case, what happened is Supreme Court said that from today onwards, any legislator or any person who is convicted for more than 1 year for the crime, he or she cannot be allowed to contest for 6 years after his conviction, after he or she has finished his punishment, his jail term. Okay, so therefore it's a restriction upon fighting for elections. Okay, so for Sasikala it will be 4 years of prison term and plus 6 years of restriction. Therefore she cannot fight election for next 10 years. So that much. So you can quote this case judgment in your mains answers. And further, for Tamil Nadu politics, now that there are two chief ministerial candidates, Mr. OPS and Mr. The other guy, which was announced by Sasikala. So there are two contenders for the chief minister. So now the ball is in the governor's corner. So now he should technically he should say that the majority will be tested on the floor of the house as per the Bombay judgment of 1994. But let us see what happens. So it's an ongoing, it will come, more news items will come upon this picture. So only this much from UPSC perspective, constitutional perspective. Okay, moving on to the next. Now page number 20. Here two important news items. First, India's air pollution rivals China's as world's deadliest source study. So here you just write down some facts. First is 1.1 million people to die prematurely each year. Okay, this has come out in one of the studies conducted by Health Effects Institute of Boston. Okay, so only that much is relevant. And obviously we already know what are the contents, what is the major content in air pollution. It's to PM 2.5, PM 10 is also, but PM 2.5 is the major. And others, for other thing you can selectively study air pollution from Wikipedia or anywhere. Second news item is THUBBER, thubber. You must have heard about rubber, but this is now thubber. This is a new item. This is a new material that has been manufactured or invented, you can say, to be used in electronics. So what is its properties? Two things. First, rubber is stretchable, and second, T stands for thermal conductivity. So two things it will have: thermal conductivity as well as elasticity. And its scope, it can be used in electronics and anything. Basically it can be used anywhere: transportation, electronics, IT. And it will have a major impact in the upcoming foldable devices. Okay, so it's a big thing, very big thing for innovation and innovative companies. So therefore it may be asked in prelims, what is thubber? Okay, so you have to remember this much. Moving to the next page. Move to page number 16. Important news item. Here it's an interview, so you should read selectively. The title is "Can I do trials without trial sites?" See, what happens is medical companies, pharmacy companies, for their medicines, they need to go through a trial process, and trial has to happen on humans, right? Humans, sometimes it happens on animals, and so these trial sites need to be given to these companies. Therefore there will be obviously land issues, there will be regulation issues, there will be government issues. So how to find out which is the best site, right? And which will provide the maximum investment, maximum return. So for these things these companies are now using predictive learning analytics. So just know the term predictive learning analytics, and this is based on digital technology, and obviously they analyze the data and finally come up with a final solution that okay, this place is suitable for this kind of medicine, X place is suitable for kind of medicines, and therefore they proceed further. Okay, so this entire article they have talked about this thing, its suitability, its usability, and its coming future, its impact in the pharmacy industry, and further it's an example of Hyderabad. Okay, so you can quote if you want in your mains answer, otherwise you just know the technology, predictive learning analytics technology, okay, based on digital. So you can also relate it with digital India as well as health, these two things with this. So you need to remember this in just 4 5 lines, that's only. Move to page number 15. First important news item: trade unions oppose changes to Factories Act. See, yesterday we discussed about this act, amendment to this act as proposed by the union government. So it was all about threshold limits. Who will decide, like, what should be the limit to include companies, manufacturing companies, into the Factories Act of 1948? So currently it was 10 plus electricity and 20 without electricity, right? So center has initially said that it should be 40 without electricity and so on. But now they have shifted the goalpost to the states. Therefore, now states has the prerogative to decide whatever limit they want. But this suggestion of the center is being opposed by the trade unions. Obviously, why they will oppose? Because it will limit their say as well as limit their benefits under this Factories Act of 1948. And further, unions have demanded two things. First, they are demanding that all the manufacturing firms should come under the Factories Act. Simply all. So this is their first demand. Second is whatever changes are being proposed, they want these things in detail, like everything in detail, and they are not agreeing with such kind of demands. And further, union government has also proposed that allowing entrepreneurs to set up a factory without getting a license. Okay, so understand this thing, like suppose someone XYZ needs to open an manufacturing company, then he need not to have any license, he can just open and get the license online. So it is good from business perspective, but think from labor's perspective. The labor might not have the like rights to go against the companies, therefore it's not beneficial for the labor. Therefore again it's an issue for contentious issue between labor and the union governments. Okay, so these issues will come up, more issues will come up once the final bill and final proposal comes up. So you wait for the final changes. Till now, just remember whatever points I have told you. Now move to page number 13. Here write it down. Justice Roy exhorts citizens to fight deadly affliction of corruption. So Justice Amitwa Roy had argued and has asked through the judgment that, and I quote, every citizen has to be a partner in this sacrosanct mission. If we aspire for a stable, just, and ideal social order, as envisioned by our forefathers and fondly cherished by the numerous self-effacing crusaders of a free and independent Bharat, placing their countless sacrifices and selfless commitments for such a cause, unquote. So here he is requesting, not a direct request, to become more free and more committed towards the nation, and become more and more honest to the people, because he is saying that today in society honest people has become in minority. Okay, so these things you can write it down either in ethics paper or in essay paper. These things are good for that. Move to page number 12. Important news item. Supreme Court is looking at triple talaq, not uniform civil code, said CJI. So Chief Justice of India had said that triple talaq and nikah halala, polygamy, these things are a matter of rights, are a matter of human rights, are a matter of not a matter of uniform civil code. And he is basically uh, differentiating between uniform civil code and these two aspects. Okay, which some political parties are saying they are similar, and so this triple talaq and nikah halala need to be seen from reforms perspective, reforms for women. Okay, rights for women. Okay, and here the name you need to remember is Saira Bano case. Okay, so that much is relevant. And the ideals, constitutional ideals towards which these kind of cases are going on is related to a right of gender equality. Okay, so remember this much. In the same page, no need to stand if national anthem is part of a film, clarifies Supreme Court. Okay, so earlier Supreme Court had said that whenever there is display of national anthem, everyone needs to stand up in the uh, theaters or film premises. Okay, now the Supreme Court had said that if the national anthem, our national anthem, is part of the film, for example, Dangal. Okay, so in such circumstances, no need to stand up. Okay, that only that much is relevant. And also write it down. An act, National Honor Act of 1971, which deals with such kind of things. Prevention of insults to National Honor Act of 1971. So these two facts, only that much is relevant. In the page number 12 itself, India to join Moscow, meet on Afghanistan. See, some days back in Moscow there was an event related to Afghanistan in which Russia, China, and Pakistan, these three countries uh, argued upon what need to be done and what not, and what would be the Afghan policy. Okay, so this was the background. So obviously this did not go well with India. Like India consider Russia as its uh, one of the true friends, as well as Afghanistan as its nearby backyard. So obviously it was not good for the Indian and Russian diplomacy. So therefore now to like to lighten the air, they have again invited such a conference, but this time there are 6 countries. Okay, including those 3 earlier ones, and now included one are India, Afghanistan, and Iran. So now 3 plus 3 equal to 6 countries. So remember the names, remember the place where it happened, and why it is happening like this. So you can relate it with the Russia policy of Russian policy of Afghanistan. Now, for example, they now consider that to fight Islamic State, which is behind the ISIS, they need another one like that, same vigor, same monstrous attitude, and they consider Taliban would be a good fit. Okay, therefore they consider Taliban as a safe bet against ISIS. And further, India's stand is India has always believed in close and constructive cooperation for peace, stability, security, and development in Afghanistan. To this end, we actively participate in several bilateral and multilateral consultations. Okay, so only this much is important. Move to page number 11. And the important article is sharpening the fight against tobacco. This is very important article. You should read it thoroughly. Okay. And I am giving you some of the data from the same article. So why this happened? Now, why this article? Because Commerce Ministry had sent a note to the cabinet proposing a blanket ban on FDI in tobacco sector. So there is a historicity related to this tobacco. What happened in 2010 was that FDI in tobacco manufacturing was completely banned, right? Now it was only manufacturing, not everything. Okay, so foreign companies started investing in India through other means like collaboration, right? Like stocks, licensing agreements, technology collaboration, trading companies. So these three areas they took and started investing in India. So now the idea is about complete ban. However, Niti Aayog does not, or yes, Niti Aayog does not supports this idea. And why Commerce Ministry had said so? Because they consider that as per WHO, FCTC stands for Framework Convention on Tobacco Control. So as per WHO FCTC, it is India is under an obligation to reduce high consumption of tobacco products, which pose a grave public health danger. Okay, so this is the government's view. Now in this article, they have analyzed it. Okay, so first one, such kind of steps were taken in, not such similar kind of steps were taken in two countries, Australia and Uruguay. So in this article, these two countries are given. So what happened in Australia was that they introduced plain packaging regulation. What happens in plain packaging is that only companies or brands name of the tobacco will be displayed, nothing else. Everything will be blank, plain. Okay. So there, Philip, which produces these cigarettes. So Philip Morris Asia, they went to in ISDS. ISDS is a tribunal which look into the cases of investor versus state disputes. Okay, so they went to investor state dispute settlement, but there the ISDS said, okay, these things does not come under our jurisdiction. So that that was the fate of that case. And another country is Uruguay. What happened in Uruguay was that uh, under Uruguay's regulation, tobacco companies needed to put 85% of the area as pictorial warnings. So in the 85% of the areas, you have to show that how tobacco is not good for health. Okay, so that was Uruguay's stand. And what Uruguay says, and it was heard under the US Uruguay BIT. BIT stands for Bilateral Investment Treaty. And the arbitration tribunal rejecting the claim of Philip Morris Asia, they said that it was within the sovereign rights and regulatory power of a country, which is Uruguay, to impose such restriction to protect public health. See, so 85% pictorial warning case was won by Uruguay, and that is why India adopted this thing in October 2014, which was reinforced, which was notified but not implemented by the government. Therefore, Supreme Court intervened in and reinforced and implemented in after April 1st, 2016. Okay, so remember from where it came in our country. Now, in the last part of the article, they are suggesting what should be the India's approach. So they are saying that if we go to the blanket ban, then it will obviously a challenge, and it will be a very difficult position for India to defend. Okay, so they are suggesting about plain packaging of cigarettes in India. So it is their view. These two guys, Prabhas Ranjan and Puskar Anand. So they are saying that India should adopt a plain packaging of cigarettes. Sorry, not only cigarette, plain packaging of tobaccos. And second measure they are suggesting is increase taxes on tobacco products. Okay, so and as per their data, taxes on cigarettes in India are still very low as compared to other countries. And also handmade bidis, taxes on these are very low. So these three things as their suggestion. What is the issue, from where it has arisen, what is its scope in India, and how India should go ahead. So this is a good article. Okay, and this is how one should write UPSC mains answers. Okay, move to page number 9. Here one pre-question may be asked in the article. In the news item, IAF, Indian Air Force, inducts indigenous early warning system. So here it is about Netra. Okay, I am just reading out from the news item. The IAF has formally inducted the first indigenously built airborne early warning and control system, which is called Netra, developed by the DRDO. So what is its name? Netra. Developed by whom? DRDO. And what is its purpose? It will be airborne and early warning system and control system. So only this much is important.